Ladies and gentlemen, we do thank you very much for your attention, and now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Welcome to our top travel destinations. I am your host, Kevin Flanagan. I have been editor of the weekly travel news column in the Sunday Independent and the Fine Wine and Food Guide, and I am here to use my decades of experience to help you know exactly where to stay, eat, drink, shop, and explore when visiting the world's top travel destinations. So sit back and enjoy the wonders of travel as we take off on our magical journey together.
Welcome to Kevin's Top Travel Destinations, and we've a very exciting Let's Lay It All Out podcast today because it's the start of 2025 and we have a whole year in which to do one of the most privileged and special things that anyone can do if they're lucky enough and have the means and have the time and have the facilities, and that is travel. Yes, we're at the beginning of this year, and people will be already turning their minds and their eyes, their imagination and their desire to special occasions, annual holidays. And I just wanted to share the 30 years of experience I've had as a travel writer and a podcaster who's basically seen most of the world. Not all of it yet. I still have plenty of places to go to. And let's start off by looking at a couple of things that could sort of help you set out your stall. I think the first thing is that we are undoubtedly creatures of habit. Now, what does that mean? It means that we tend to want to go back to the same spot. People put their towels on the same sunbed in the same hotel on the same day 1 year following, just because it gives them a certain security. We live, it has to be said, in a very uncertain world. Perhaps that has always been the case. But with social media, 24/7 coverage of the news, it makes it so much more difficult to get peace of mind. And I would really share with you a couple of tips I've learned as a traveller that will help expand your mind, help quieten your mind, and help fill it with imagination. And one of the great antidotes to stress and depression, research shows us, is creativity. So let's get a bit creative about our travel arrangements for 2025. So if you do go to the same resort with the same people at the same time of year, well, why don't you just try to do something different? Even if you decide you want to go back to that exact same location, why don't you change the time of year you go? One of the things that has come across in the research on getting good value in holidays is the fact that if you are able to book your holiday late, you will get fantastic value in different locations at prices that will actually be mouth-watering. Now, people don't like that because it means that they may be leaving it up to several weeks, right up to a few days before they leave. But rest assured, I have so many experiences and I know so many travellers who have benefited profoundly from leaving it late to book their holiday. And suddenly they have a location that normally they could never have thought they could have afforded, perhaps at a hotel they could not have afforded, because they have delayed booking that holiday and taking that small risk. You're always going to get away. You are always going to get somewhere. But that could be one very special way to make a travel adventure in 2025 with a little bit of pizzazz in it. Let's talk you through that if you choose to do this. What happens to the big holiday providers? Well, they book flights and they book hotels and they prepay for them. Now, if it comes to a month to 2 weeks before the date of departure, they have to fill that room. If they have to slash prices on some of the big sites that many people use, you can get maybe 60-70% savings. The other great advantage of this is that you will be going to locations that you may not have even considered going to before. So that is one surefire way, and to actually save some money in your pocket so you can spend while you're there, maybe with a little bit more freedom than otherwise. So that's the first thing I would say if you were looking at changing up, stirring up your travel plans for 225. Go for the short booking, the late booking option. Go on those big sites like Trivago and the other great sites that most people are looking at very regularly as they start planning their holidays. Or just Google what is available for an upcoming vacation. The second thing to do is to check on whether you want to go with the same people or you choose to go alone. Now, sometimes that may not be possible, but this is where something like a city break can be very useful option. My son and his wife, they have a lot of duties to do with the kids, and they also have interests to do with sport and recreational exercise, and they can sometimes make sure that one of them's at home while the other goes off. For example, last year Maria went off and did the half marathon in Valencia. Kieran went off and did golf trips. That can actually really free up, not only add to the relationship, because there's nothing quite like having a creative break, but it also means that you can go and have a different experience. What I'm really trying to get across in this podcast at the beginning of 225 is that we only have one chance to really enjoy travel. We only have this one life which doesn't go on forever. And it is really worth trying to pick something new, shake it up a bit. There are now so many fantastic city breaks, and these are quite easy again to book late. You don't have to use hotels. There's still Airbnb and the other options. I just had New Year's Eve with the two grandkids in Venice with my sister. It was quite different. There's a new experience. You go to Venice. The last time I was in Venice was in the summer. It was sweltering at 37 degrees and you couldn't move for the crowds. You go in the depths of winter and there's a fantastic experience. The vaporettas, the walkways around Venice were much quieter. The restaurants were quieter. You had a completely different experience. So again, that's something to look at as well. And again, I would say, when you're traveling and making your plans for 225, just write down a wish list. Write down your bucket list right now as you're listening to this, as you're enjoying this. Where is it that you would like to go? You've basically two options. You've the short haul option and you've the long haul option. And is there a special occasion coming up? Is there a wedding anniversary or a special birthday where you can push the boat out? And this is where long haul options can and do provide fantastic opportunities for an experience that you will never forget. And I think what I'm really trying to encourage you to do is to make memories. Last year, I had the opportunity to travel to Laos, to Vietnam, and then to come much closer to home and go with the grandkids to Ghent and to the capital of Belgium, Antwerp, which was a really different experience. So when you are planning now, sit down and have a piece of paper, I would advise, and on one side put short haul and the other side put long haul. And just for the exercise, put down places you have not visited before. Doesn't mean to say you have to go ahead and book them, but there is a ton of good research to show that even when you open up the possibility of a new travel idea, that may spark something. You may start dreaming about a different location. You may start meeting people who've been to that location. It's this sort of envisaging approach to life, opening up your imagination, and the universe comes knocking on it. Remember, travel can change your life. And if you look back on your past experiences, some of them may well be wrapped up and around travel. So this is a great opportunity. Finally, I would say when it comes to 225, this is a golden era of travel. With the way that ecological damage and change is happening, with the way that there could be restrictions on how far we will fly as global warming, rising sea levels makes their impact. We don't know for how many more years or decades this level of availability where you can literally travel to the other side of the world. I wish all our listeners a really heartfelt, happy new year. Is make it happier by 1, going to a short-haul destination, a city break you haven't been to before. If there is an opportunity to have a long-haul destination, go somewhere you haven't been before. Whether it's going to see the rugby, the Lions in Australia, going to see the Tennis Open in New York, going to Wimbledon, going across the world for events, for theatre, for sport, or for your recreational love, whether you're a cyclist or a walker or a hiker. Now is the chance to get on that different Camino walk and to complete it if you haven't done that before, if you've only done a part of it. There's the Via Frangelica in Italy, which is an absolutely wonderful pilgrim's walk. There are so many different areas where you can explore. You look at Ireland, where they've created these walks like the Wild Atlantic Way, and there's such a breadth of opportunity to look at the wonders of the world while we still have them. So good luck booking your 225. Let me know what has come along and what has happened to you as you make your plans. If you leave it late, you may get a fantastic and economic alternative for a family break, a couple's break, or a solo break. And finally, there is so much to be said for traveling on your own, even if you're taking that city break or that recreational break, because you have to interact with people. You're not in that cocoon. You will say things and do things and interact with people that you would never normally do. And that's another great gift of travel. So good luck with your booking. Try something new, and we will exchange the wonderful memories that we will make in 2025.